Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay, I need my notes. There we go. All right. So real quick, I'm going to go around and introduce you guys. This might take me a minute, but then we'll get rocking and rolling on the questions. Just having a little conversation with three basketball players from pretty much the same area of Washington that all played Division III. We'll get into that in a second. Bryce, would you wave your hand real quick so everyone knows who you are? So this is Bryce Mulder, 7 foot forward, just finished his junior season at Whitman. He's from Woodland High School in Woodland, Washington. In high school, he was the 2A GSHL MVP and second team All-State his senior year, 2016-2017. His senior year, he averaged 17.1 points per game, 10.3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and 3.5 blocked shots a game. You know what's crazy about that is when I was looking this up, Grant, you averaged 17.1 your senior season too.
Really?
Yeah. Does that sound correct? Am I looking at the right stats?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Bryce, in college, you've been on 3 of the best teams, or 2 of your 3 seasons have been like historical at Whitman. You guys were 29-2 your freshman year. Sophomore year, you were 28-2, and then junior year, 20-8. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, that's okay. About right.
You guys played in the Northwest Conference Championship all 3 years, took second, I believe, your first year, and then won the next 2. You guys went to the national tournament all 3 years. I was looking up your college stats, and one of the categories that jumps out right away is last year you had 29 blocks, 39 on the career, and if you – let me see, I got this right. I got it pulled up. If you double that, I mean, you're going to be in the record books for most block shots in a season. You'll be up there. Most block shots in a career, you'll be in the top 10, no problem, in Whitman history. Mm-hmm. You're gonna probably end up in the block shots historical top 10s for almost every single category.
Hopefully, that's the goal.
And that was only in, I think, like 12 or 13 minutes a game this year. So, yeah. I mean, if your minutes go up next year, I would expect even bigger numbers there. Okay, and then we got Grant Gibb. Grant, go ahead and wave to all the folks at home. Grant's 6'5". Did you say you're 6'5" or 6'6"?
I would honestly go 6'4". 6'5".
Really? Okay. I'll give you 6'5" with shoes on.
All right.
6'5" wing, just finished his senior season. He's from Mark Morris High School in Longview, Washington, 2-time league MVP in high school, first team All-State his senior year, as well as the Daily News All-Area Player of the Year his senior year. Along with Bryce, he averaged 17.1 points per game his senior year and about 7.5 boards a game. In college, Grant, let's see, your junior year at Linfield, you guys were 17-9. Senior year, 20-6, made the conference tournament both years. Junior year, you averaged about 12 points per game, 5 rebounds a game, and then it looks like senior year, about 12 and 4. The crazy stat when I was looking you up is you shot 93% from the line this past season and 43% from 3, which I mean is unreal. I'll let you. I didn't really have a chance to look up like your Eastern Washington records, like your teams there. I don't know the records there, but both these guys are Roots guys, so I've known them for a long time. Grant was at the Roots gym almost every single day, all of high school. Bryce, a little further away from Longview, he'd come up when he could, and both of you guys played on A. Did you guys ever play together, AAU?
No. I played AAU only 1 year.
Okay. But yeah, both these guys are OGs, known them for a long time. Our connection now is we all played in the NWC, the Northwest Conference. I played at Lewis and Clark. The only thing I'm going to shout out about myself is I was 6-2 against Linfield, and I was 5-4 against Whitman. So I got winning records on both your guys' schools. But back then when I was playing, both your guys' schools were a lot less good.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, I wanted to hear some of the Scott's stats at Lewis and Clark.
Man,
I know there's some good stats out there, so don't.
I think I averaged like 12 jump stops a game, like 15 pivots, like 21 ball fakes, and a lot of high fives from the bench. So,
there you go.
The first question I have for you guys is, let me pull up my handy notes. I want you guys to, if you can, I'll have you go first, Grant. Talk about like your recruiting process and tell people about how you went to Eastern first and how that happened, and then your switch.
So out of high school, kind of same recruiting process almost as when I was transferring. Pretty much, a lot of the NWC schools were reaching out. I took a couple visits to. I actually took a visit to Whitman. I visited PLU, and then I saw a couple other games. But I talked to almost George Fox coach, Linfield coach, talked to Coach Rose at a high school, UPS, pretty much a lot of the schools, and so they were all kind of the same private school looking. And then I just got this kind of a phone call, email from Coach Hafer from Eastern asking if I'd be interested in walking on. So I mean, as a high schooler, you hear a D1 coach and it kind of jumps out to you. So it's kind of hard to resist and say no to that. So I took it. And I really enjoyed my time at Eastern. Obviously, I didn't play a ton as a walk-on. It's hard, but we had great teams. Went to the Big Sky Championship my last year. We were second place in the conference my second year. We had Jake Wiley on our team, who's a Big Sky MVP, played in NBA a couple games. Bogdan Blizik, my last year, was a Big Sky MVP. So we just had really good players on our teams, and so huge learning experience there. But then I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I was like, I just kind of missed playing a ton of basketball. So kind of I talked to Scott right off with the Roots connection, kind of get my name back out there, letting people know. And the first person to reach out to me was Coach Rose from Linfield. And I remember talking to him from high school, and I kind of looked them back up, and I saw how great their team was now compared to when I was first recruiting, and I kind of jumped out. But I also was looking out. I took a visit to Whitworth and saw their team, and they were kind of already established, obviously, and same with Whitman. And so it's kind of cool to see Linfield come up, and I thought it'd be a great fit, and obviously it was. So
Was Will there when you
no,
Will
so when
Murdoch?
I committed to Linfield and I heard Will was transferring, obviously I was getting going right on the Will. I was like, Will, man, I mean, why not? We'd play together, it'd be fun. And
Did you guys transfer in the same year?
yeah, same year. So 2 Longview guys entering the program. Everyone else is like, all right, who are these guys?
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
it was awesome. And so it was incredible 2 years there.
And you brought in Reese for your senior
I did a lot of recruiting at Linfield.
year. Bryce, how did you end up at Whitman?
You know, I didn't play a lot of AAU basketball, so I didn't have a lot of connections going into my senior year. But my sister got recruited to Whitman, so my freshman year, I went over there to go check it out, and I met Coach Bergelin and then a former assistant coach, Coach Airy, who's was really doing most of the recruiting with me. But I got recruited to a lot of NWC schools, and then a few, Division twos like Eastern or NAI is like Eastern Oregon. But I mean, I also got a couple calls from schools like Bowling Green State, and the UW assistant coach talked to me about going to prep schools or a community college for a year and kind of just developing, because as a 7-footer, I wasn't physically ready to play at that level yet. But yeah, Whitman was just kind of like always the place that I thought I wanted to be. It was at the time a team that went to a Final Four the year before I got there, who didn't graduate anybody, and it's a top academic school, so it really was like a no-brainer kind of heading over that way.
What do you guys think about D3 before college? Like when you were in high school, when someone mentioned a D3 school, what were your guys' thoughts, and has that changed at all since you got there?
Yeah, it's kind of unknown at first, just because you don't see obviously a lot of it on TV and even in the media a little bit. But I would say that's improved dramatically, even just over the last 3 or 4 years, especially with social media. You see like the NWCs all over Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So I would say just over the last 3 or 4 years, you can kind of see what the D3 basketball is like now compared to when I was coming out of high school for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I remember telling my mom the fall of my senior year, like I was only getting looked at by D3s, and I told her like if D3 is my only option, I'm probably not playing basketball in college, because that was just kind of the idea of Division III basketball, especially on the West Coast. There's not a lot of schools, but after going to Whitman, playing all these schools from the East Coast and the Midwest, it's definitely good basketball. It's not a slouch. There's good players out there. There's players playing, pro overseas and different stuff like that. So it's definitely, I realized that I kind of overlooked D3 at first and probably shouldn't have.
Yeah. I mean, I think, no one growing up is like, man, I want to go to the Northwest Conference. You're thinking about like Duke and UCLA, all the big schools. But Grant, what was the big difference between the D1 and D3? I mean, practices, games, the type of players. Can you kind of break that down?
A lot of it being size and athletic ability. Obviously, like there's some great athletes in our conference and there's some big people, but it's just when everyone's that side and everyone can do that, it's a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like a lot of the skill, especially shooting, I mean, top to bottom, probably NWC is probably better shooters. Like you get your typical your white shooters all over the court. So like your scouting reports are going to be a lot different, but for skill wise, there's not like a huge drop down. In some areas there are, but for a lot of, especially shooting, it's pretty similar.
Bryce, have you guys played any D1s or D2s while you've been at Whitman?
No. Well, we played Central Washington in a scrimmage my freshman year. We beat them in that game, but we've tried to schedule different schools, but like UP, PSU, stuff like that. But they've never called us back. They didn't want to play us, especially my freshman year when we were a really good team.
Yeah, you guys would have been a nightmare to play as a bigger. I mean, my experience at Lewis and Clark, we got to play University of Oregon, Oregon State, Portland, and Portland State. And I mean, Oregon, that was one year we played them tough. I think we lost by like 14 or 15. But then the next year, 2 years later, they beat us by like 50. The matchups are different at that level because, for us, we were playing like 4 guards and then a post that was like 6'5". So we basically had 5 guards on the court. And they had like true posts, like 6'10", 6'11". And so we would spread them out and just shoot a bunch of threes, and then they would, come down and try to pound it inside. But it's definitely a different, variety of basketball at the levels and the conferences that you go to.
For sure.
What do you guys think are some of like the negatives of D3? Whether it's academics, athletics, whatever.
Just the fact that you can't really give athletic scholarships, it kind of off the bat kind of gives it a negative side, especially for coaches trying to recruit top players. And I know that some schools at D3 can kind of, make things happen through academics or whatever. So sometimes it gives other schools an advantage or something. But just the fact that you can't really do that and you can't recruit all the players you want because they can't afford it or they can't get into some of the high academic schools is tough. So that's what I would say, obviously.
I think that's the biggest problem is we've had a lot of recruits come out that we've really liked. We've seen them play and we really think they would be a good fit with us, but they're just not high academic, and they can't get the financial aid or the academic money to get into an expensive school like that. So
what would you say is something that you enjoy more about D3 than maybe, and Bryce, you've been at Whitman the whole time, so Grant, you might be able to speak to this better. Like what's something you like better about Linfield than Eastern Washington?
You get definitely a little more freedom. You almost get treated, especially in the off season, as more of just a student, which has its pros and cons. But sometimes you do kind of want to get away from the sport or being an athlete, and you can kind of go act like a normal college student, do some of those things. And especially in the off season, you get some free time on the weekends to do stuff, and you can really focus on your grades and kind of what you want to do after school. So And yeah, just a lot of the resources, especially at Linfield and I know at Whitman, they do an incredible job because it's just a small private school of really helping you over going out and finding your career. So
What are you guys studying?
I'm studying business marketing and sport management, and we'll graduate here in May
Nice.
online.
Online, let's go. Bryce, what are you studying?
I'm a psychology major.
Psychology.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like dream jobs in mind that you are trying to pursue?
Currently in the job hunt right now, and it's especially with the virus, it's kind of killing it. But I don't know. I do want to stay involved in basketball somehow. So pretty much any way I can do that would be great.
Yeah. I definitely like to stay in basketball coaching or front office work if I could, but you know, trying to get an internship with a NBA organization out of college would be ideal for me.
That'd be awesome. Come
Yeah.
to Portland. Come work
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
Deserts.
Got some connections with them, trying to work it. So
Man, I'll shoot out some emails. We can be roommates.
that'd be great.
And you can like help Zach Collins on some post defense or something.
Exactly.
Dude, you know, they actually do look for big guys to be
Yeah.
assistant coaches for that exact
Really,
reason.
they can't just go in there and simulate that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like if I go out there and I'm trying to work with them pregame, you know, they're not getting anything
Right.
done there. Okay, so who's the best team you guys have faced while at Linfield and Whitman?
Okay, I'll go first. Last year's Whitman's team was pretty spectacular. I mean, they come at you with like 10 guys, and
It's insane.
they sub every 5 minutes, as Bryce can tell you later.
Yeah.
So that team was pretty remarkable. And then we played Nebraska Westland last year, who was #1 in the country at the time, and we were up 9 at halftime, kind of thinking we had it, and then they came in and second half lit us up. And then other than that, we played St. John's this year, who was #2 at the time. And same thing, we took them down on the wire and they got us at the end.
What about you, Bryce?
Nebraska Wesleyan, my freshman year, we played them in the Elite Eight. You know, we run a press the whole time, so usually teams, especially in the Midwest and East Coast, aren't used to that. But they lit us up, just absolutely lit us up. I think they shot 70% from deep, and they ended up winning by 40. It was just not fun to be there. And then other than that, I'd say St. Thomas. St. Thomas is a good team. That's a powerhouse in Division III. We played them this year. And then my freshman year, we played Whitworth. We were #1 in the country, and they were #2. So that was a good
That's
Whitworth.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Can you tell me in order, like the best team you've been on, second, third, out of the 3 years?
The Whitman ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, last year, my sophomore year, was definitely the best team. Then my freshman year, and then this year was probably the least best team. But
And how far did you guys make it in the national tournament those years?
Last year we got to the Sweet 16. My freshman year we got to the Elite Eight, and then this year we got to just the first round of the tournament. But yeah, that last year team was good. We had like 14 guys who could play. We had 2 transfers who were all conference in their respective conferences, and you know that's just tough when you return 5 all conference on your own team.
Man, that's crazy. What's the national tournament like? I never got a chance to get there.
It's fun. I mean, like this year, you know, we went over there early. We got there on Tuesday night. You just hang out in the hotel. You were practicing, you know, just hanging with the team, and then it's competitive. Like it's your only shot. You don't know what to expect, but a lot of travel. Yeah, it's a good time.
Another question while I'm thinking about it. What is that Whitman-Whitworth rivalry like on the inside?
No, it's we respect them. You know, each team we respect each other, but it's a bitter rivalry. We don't want to lose. We don't want them to beat them on our home court. That's the toughest part. They beat us twice at Whitman, and that's tough to see them storm the court or cut down our nets. And so it's bitter though. You go to Whitworth and their fans are no joke. They get in your face. They're talking to you the whole game. It's rowdy for sure.
Yeah, I mean, every time you guys play, I try to get home so I can watch it online because it's just such a heated rivalry, and you guys are the two closest teams to each other. You know, everyone else has to travel out to the Wits, but you guys are right there. How far a trip is it for you guys?
2.5 hours probably.
Okay.
About that. Not too bad.
Okay, Grant, I got a question for you. Let's see, favorite Northwest Conference road game?
Road game
And then go favorite and least favorite.
and just on the road.
Yeah, just road game.
Okay. Oof. We
So
didn't
what-
play good on the road this year.
What
No.
game do you look forward to on the road?
Well, anytime we go play the Wits, it's obviously huge. Especially in the last 2 years we've been there. We've been the top 3 teams both years, and especially this year, there was such a separation from top 3 to 4 that these are important games. And we didn't get Whitworth or Whitman on the road, so those are obviously goals we wanted, but we didn't. We had a brutal one at Whitworth this year. We led the whole game, and then we went down to the last call. We were up 1, and they called some just terrible Spokane bias ref, and they just went and shot 2 free throws and won it. But it's not what caused the game, but that was brutal. I would say our favorite away game was at UPS this year. Coach Rose has never won up in Tacoma at UPS, and so we did it this year, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty fun in the locker room.
Nice. Bryce, what about you? Favorite road game, least favorite, you know, like place to go or
Yeah,
team
favorite
to
road game
face?
would be Whitworth, obviously. I mean, anytime you can go in there, beat them on their home court in front of the fans is always fun. Least favorite, it's a toss up. I mean, Willamette's no fun to go to because it's just not a fun place to play. But I'd say UPS my freshman year and my sophomore year were just not fun games because they were a tough team, especially at home. But this year Linfield was not fun to go to, not at all.
That's what we like to hear.
They're not a team you want to see.
Okay. What's your favorite gym in the NWC?
Not your own.
You could say your own if you want.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll go not my own. Actually, shooting wise, Whitman's gym is.
Yeah, you're always hitting that with them.
Whitman's shooting gym is the best.
I like playing at Whitman also. I like that.
Yeah,
gym.
their gym is awesome. There were some really bad gyms. Willamette, like you said, I hated playing at UPS. You can never shoot in that gym.
What about PLU?
PLU is a terrible gym.
PLU was not great. I liked Lewis and Clark. I liked George Fox. Those are some better
Bryce
ones.
hit a 3 at Lewis and Clark this year.
Yes, I did. Off the top of the
He was
backboard.
yeah, it was like Kawhi's.
Pacific has a pretty good gym actually. But no.
Do you like Linfield? Do you like your home gym?
I do, yeah. For sure.
Bryce, what about you? Favorite gym or least favorite gym?
Favorite gym?
Do you guys like Whitworth?
Whitworth's a cool gym. I like it.
Yeah, it's
You don't
all
like
right.
it?
I like Whitman better.
I kind of like it too. It's kind of unique.
Yeah, I like how they have it set up. It's like kind of like, I don't know. I like it with the fans all up in your face. But I like Linfield's gym too. It's kind of a cool setup. It's really,
yeah, like the down underneath is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who has been the best player that you've faced in the conference over your years that you've been at Linfield and Whitman?
Well, last year, your guys' Austin Butler was the MVP, and he just affected the game every dimension. And he's only 6 foot, and he wasn't even a shooter, and he would still take over the game. And so it was pretty amazing watching him sometimes. This year, Ben College went nuts. He would hit like 10 feet behind the 3-point line just every game. So he would hit some crazy stuff you can't. And then what was the guy's last year on UPS's name?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
He averaged 20-something. He was tough.
Yeah, he led the league in scoring for 3 straight years or something like that.
But and then on my team this year, watching Dempsey sometimes is pretty remarkable. He can just put his head down and get to the rim, and seems like no one can stop him sometimes, especially when he has his jump shot going. But yeah, those are probably some of the guys that are pretty remarkable in our league.
Bryce, you got anyone to add to that?
Yeah, some different ones. I'd say Kyle Roach.
I forgot about Rush for sure.
Yeah, he put up 40 against us, I think, like 3 times.
He's a beast.
Yeah, you just kind of let him go to the paint, but then if let him shoot it. Don't let him go to the paint. But I mean, if his jump shot's going, you can't stop him.
Exactly.
Kind of like Dempsey. But yeah, Ben College, he's stopped playing it.
Was Austin the best teammate you've ever played with?
That's tough to say because I played with some good players, but Austin was probably the most physically gifted out of everybody. He's 6 foot. He can't shoot outside 4 feet, but he's just a freak athlete.
Yeah.
Joey Hewitt is an insanely good scorer. Yeah. Even Vic this year, Andrew Vickers.
Oh, Vic. And Jack Stewart was also very good too.
Jack Stewart's good. You didn't play against Tim, but Tim Howell, he was an All-American. He had a floater that just no one could stop. Mm-hmm. So I played with him my freshman year.
Can you guys talk about your guys' playing styles? I know, Grant, you guys do like that 1-3-1 matchup zone. Is that right?
We don't even really know what to call it. It's a switching, run and jump kind of a defense. Junk it up a little bit. It's really tough to explain, but I'm not trying to, give Linfield scout out to. I'm just kidding. But no, it's kind of it definitely flusters teams. We try to pressure the ball and force them to drive, and then we come with someone else and kind of jump it and just kind of get a lot of rotations going.
Did you enjoy playing that defense?
For sure, especially for a lanky, slow guy like me. You can kind of get away with some things at time. So, yeah, I mean, I obviously wasn't gifted with speed, but I became a pretty good defender by just being in the right places at the right time. So it definitely helped in that system.
What about your offense at Linfield? You guys, it seemed like you ran a lot of stuff through your post, like him having to make passes and you guys kind of working, on the sides, guard to guard.
Yeah, we run it through a lot of their high posts and then have the 4 out, and it was a great system. Obviously, our offense is one of the most efficient in the entire country this year, and so we had the shooters we go through the post and kind of do a lot of screening away. We stray away from on-ball screens, and so we have a ton of movement and a ton of cutters, and so we had some distinct personnel. We kind of know who was our cutters and knows who were our shooters, and so everyone kind of knew their role. So that's why we were so efficient, I think.
What about you, Bryce? You guys also have a really distinctive playing style. Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. We play a disruption defense, is what he likes to call it. It's not really guarding anybody. You're kind of just rotating the whole time. We play a 2-2-1 press most of the time, and then we're just in the lines. We're never sitting back. We're always kind of not letting teams just move the ball as much as possible, and then making an isolation game for them, which is really hard for a lot of Division III teams. And then offensively, it's a lot of isolation. We like to get guys who can kind of play by themselves and then attack, kick it out. Don't really want to give away our main offense, but
yeah. I mean, just like the style, I guess.
Yeah, we kind of just swing it around and work it, get to the paint as much as possible, and swing it out.
You know who looked really good in your guys' offense was Jaron.
Yeah.
I mean, him in isolation. I mean, he's just so tough to guard one-on-one and on an island.
Yeah, he's worked on it so much. It's hard. He can hit from anywhere, and he just knows how to get people off balance.
Yeah, he's got a nice like in and out, nice crossover. He'd be a tough guard. And then you have Vickers on the other side, which is tough too. And
Yeah.
his shot
43% this year.
his
from
shot
deep.
reminds me a lot of yours, Grant. You guys are both just like robots shooting from deep.
The Josh Wilson.
Yeah, the offhand is just perfect the whole time.
That's literally from Josh, just putting the quarter right in there, and you just
Before I met Josh, this is how I would end my shot.
right. He's a genius.
Can you guys talk about your head coaches and like maybe like the practice styles, like what your practices were like?
Yeah. Coach Rose obviously has taken in the Linfield program from a 4-win season to a 20-win season in like 4 or 5 years now. And it's just based off his toughness, his grit, and his commitment. Really, he asked for a lot of his players, and he really is passionate. So you want to play well for him. But yeah, our practices we do drills, but
Are
it's
they
a lot of
intense?
They can be, yeah. Especially preseason, they can be intense. He can be awful blunt and real with you. He's just honest. So, but players know that going in, so there's no hard feelings or anything. It's all just to get better, as pretty much every coach in college is going to be. But we do a ton of live play, so it's a lot of game like, and we'll break down a lot of defensive covers, and then go straight to live and kind of get our offense going. It's kind of really fun just because you do so much live play. You're not getting bored out in drills, so it's really fun.
Does it feel similar to Eastern Washington, or does it feel a lot different?
It's kind of hard sometimes because I didn't play so much that I didn't get a ton of the feel at Eastern.
Yeah.
But I would say it's pretty similar, especially the first head coach I had, Coach Hayford.
Bryce, what about now? I've heard like legendary stories about Whitman practices. Can you?
Yeah.
I have too.
Can you tell me if those stories that I'm hearing are true? Like you guys will sometimes have like, really nuts practices up front, and then later on you'll go like 30 minutes, and that'll be a wrap.
No, that's exactly like it is. In my first practice, my freshman year, we had a 3-hour practice in the morning at like 6 a.m. and then we came back at 4 and practiced again for another 3 hours. And so like that's just what the preseason's like. It's hard nosed, we're going after it, playing a lot of live, working on our stuff because our defense isn't really something that you do in high school. So we're working on that pretty hard. And then by the time we get to conference, it's pretty light. Hour, maybe get some shots up, maybe 1 or 2 live drills, and then get out. By the time we get to like the last month of this season, it's 30 minutes maybe, just getting shots up, really staying loose. Because by that time we're in shape. We practice hard enough. We know what we're all doing. So.
Were you shocked like your first year, like the day that you said you had 2 3-hour practices? Were you just thinking like this isn't what I was cut out for?
Yeah. Well, actually, luckily, I was injured. I had a concussion for those first 2 weeks.
Luckily.
So luckily, yeah. No,
luckily, every bone in my body was broken that week, so I was good.
No, I didn't. But yeah, I saw that first practice. I was like, oh no, I don't know if this is for me. But you get used to it once you play in the style for a while. Your body gets used to it.
Is Coach Bridge pretty intense?
Super intense.
Yeah.
Like Grant said, it's being honest. He's not gonna mess around with you. If you talk back or say something, he's gonna call you out for it, and he's gonna tell you like, "I'm just trying to help you. Like, this is what you need to hear to get better." So,
what about Coach Airy and Coach Corey?
Airy's kind of the same. He's at times he can be the peacekeeper between the players and Bridge, but he can definitely be intense also. But yeah, Corey, he's more of just kind of a player's coach. He gets along with the guys.
Corey's my guy. He went to Lewis and Clark, so
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Corey. What else? Do you guys have any questions Grant, do you have any questions for Bryce, or Bryce for Grant? Anything that you guys want to bounce off?
No, but I think I do kind of want to hear Bryce's opinion, especially I don't know if you saw, Scott, us and Whitman had some pretty insane games down the stretch this year.
Yeah, tell me what was going on because I was kind of caught up on the women's side.
Well, so we
Do you guys need to make up right now? Is that what we're hearing?
not at all. We beat Whitman on the last regular season game, and we beat Whitworth, and we were co-champion.
Oh yeah, the same
with
weekend.
Whitworth. Yeah, and
That's an amazing weekend, by the way, to beat both Wits.
yeah, I don't sweeping the Wits was like I should put that on my resume or something.
Was that at home or on the road?
It was at home.
Okay.
And so we did that, and then we knew we were playing Whitman again coming back the next week for the playoff game. And even from last Friday, the game we played Whitman on Friday, we're like, oh God, this is gonna be another just battle. And it was. We had like the biggest crowd in Linfield history pretty much, or in like 20 years. And it was just loud and right from the get-go, just another back and forth battle. But
Yeah.
I knew right when we beat you guys, it was like, all right, they're going to be pissed off coming back.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy because we lost to Whitworth at home on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, we had a 68-game home or conference win streak or something like that before we lost to Lewis and Clark.
Yeah.
I think like 2 weeks earlier. Yeah, Lewis and Clark. And then lost to Whitworth on Tuesday and then headed to Linfield. And, we were thinking we could, if we beat Linfield or if Linfield loses to Whitworth, we're hosting at least one game.
Mm-hmm.
And we still had a shot at the conference championship if we beat Linfield and Linfield beat Whitworth.
Yeah.
But, after we lost, that was kind of tough, realizing that we were going to be the 3 seed. But, just coming back, it was really like we got to regroup and figure out what our offense is and figure out what we did wrong. Because we were down 20 at halftime, I think, to you guys on that Friday game. It was crazy.
And then they came back and cut it to like 3. We're like, God.
I thought we were winning that game.
Like, not again, but.
That go ahead.
Our senior night, when you guys played us on senior night.
Exactly. I was just going to bring that up last year, right?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, the season before, Scott, our game was at Whitman, and it was their senior night, and they're remarkable. Like
our seniors were like 108 and 10 or something like that.
Yeah,
historical.
Yeah.
And so we came in and we started out the game, and it was like 18-2 or something.
Grant hit 3 straight threes.
I did have the game of my life when I was like 7 from 8 from 3 or something, and but we just kind of with Whitman, you kind of know like, all right, you're gonna get a lead, but you just kind of know how, especially with their style of play, like, all right, they're gonna make it a game no matter what. So
yeah, just got to get a couple turnovers and then it's a different ball.
Yeah, exactly. They get one, it kind of just duplicates. Like, all right, they get 2 or 3, but
Yeah,
I think that's what kind of separated us and why we were at least able to get one this year is just we handled turnovers finally, and that's kind of what did it.
Your guys' streak in conference was unreal. I was at the game at Lewis and Clark, and so when I heard that, I was like, "Is that right?" So I went back and checked. How many was it? 68.
It was like 68, 67, something like that.
Straight conference wins. Any game in conference is a little bit more tough than a non-conference game. So the fact that you guys did that for like 3-4 straight years is unreal.
For sure.
It looks like we're coming up on our time to where we're gonna get shut off this bad boy. So, any last words you guys want to get? For me, I'm gonna say roll Pios.
Let's go Cats,
Let's go Blues.
No,
Appreciate you guys getting on.
No, it's kind of nice for the future, at least guys in high school, seeing that the NWC is legit. It's probably one of the best conferences in the country. So, yeah.
I mean, just to emphasize that, I would say D3 out of high school is not like the sexy pick, but I would just really challenge any kids that are getting talked to by D3 schools or pursuing a D3 school to go watch a game. And
go watch a game and you'll find out real fast what it's like.
They're really good players. I mean, there's obviously probably a little bit less athleticism and size, maybe top to bottom, but I mean, you two are high school greats, and you guys are doing awesome in college. And I mean, it's just a tough league, and so. I really enjoyed watching both of you guys. I'll get another year to watch Bryce. Grant, I'll get to watch you next year in the NBA. So I'm excited for both.
So,
But
No.
anyways, I appreciate you guys getting on. I'm gonna hang up
Thanks for
before
putting it together, man. It's awesome.
For sure.
go Roots.
Yeah, Roots fan that we can all agree on.
See you guys.
All right, Zoo.